hundreds of sounds in this project that I got from from the director initially, and that I added myself as well. So overall, there's hundreds, possibly up in the thousands of sounds in this project. The first thing that comes to mind is the Foley. There's a lot of it. Most of the Foley actually takes place in about the first 5 minutes. Creating the sound for the characters of the feat, I really had to think about who the character actually was. There was a lot of Foley work involved there with choosing different footstep sounds, different types of shoes. For Martin, I actually had a pair of shoes that were ripped at the bottom and they squish every single time you take a step. For those, I wanted to emphasize his sort of nerdiness. For the bullies, I used shoes that sounded a bit older, a little more adult, just so that they sounded a little older and more foreboding. I did a lot of things like having somebody wear a pair of shoes that were too big for them, and they ran for the Niner character to make him seem a little awkward and kind of like a little kid who's wearing shoes that are a little too big, kind of out of his element. A lot of the challenges with the sound in this were related to ambience in dialogue, which you can run into quite often actually with different generators running in the school and things like that. So it is very difficult for the location audio person to get rid of those sounds while they're recording. So in the post-production audio, I have to go through and do a lot of editing to denoise all the tracks that have a whole bunch of generator hum and all of that sort of stuff in it, which takes a long time because there's a lot of little tweaks I have to do with that so that I wasn't losing any sound quality. So right here we have the end of the Niner scene in the initial stages when I first started working on it. There's a lot of problems with the audio at this point. There's a couple places here where the audio is extremely loud to the point where it clips and distorts.
Gotta go!
Yeah, there's a lot of dialogue volume difference. As Martin says his line, it's kind of hard to hear. So this is the end of the Niner scene after all the work's been done.
Now open this door! Open it!
Gotta go!
Niner, you asshole! You always be nothing but a big ass stain in life!
Maybe, and I'm not the asshole stuck in a water guy!
You little... I hope they dumped your head in the shitter!
I did a lot of mixing between the boom microphone and the lav microphone, the one pin on your collar. Because they have such a different frequency response, I had to basically pick and choose which one I used for each shot. It was difficult at times to figure out which one, because do I want the ambience, do I want the reverb in the background of the school, or do I want a completely dry sound? As it turns out, some of the things with the audio didn't go as planned on set. There was a bunch of problems with the ambience and the audio. You could hear the dolly in one of the tracks. So we did a whole bunch of scenes of ADR and try to mix the ADR properly so it still sounded like they were in the school. That was fairly difficult to put the ADR right into the scene exactly where it needs to be and make it sound believable. But hopefully I pulled that off.